Thinking about divorcing a narcissist, brace yourself. This isn't just a breakup. It's psychological warfare disguised as a legal process. And if you're not prepared, it can destroy your finances, your mental health, and your sense of self. Hi, my name is Michele Paradise. Welcome to my channel, where I bring to you the most up-to-date information to help you navigate the most important relationship in your life, which is the one with yourself. I've worked with countless clients who've walked through this fire, and today I'm giving you the survival checklist you must have if you're divorcing a narcissist. At this point, I'd also like to recommend a book by Tara Swithin. It's called Divorcing a Narcissist. It's an excellent book, and she went through hell and back, and she's actually the person that coined the phrase yellow rock when it comes to, here, I've got one on my desk. This is a yellow rock, and it's a way of communicating with a narcissist that is just a little bit more than gray rock, where it's totally unemotional. But this is a way to navigate communication with a narcissist when you have children, because you do have to communicate with them, obviously, and you want to not alienate them, but not be lured into their trap. So this video could save you years of confusion and pain. Let's dive in. Number one, don't tell them you're leaving until you have a plan, because the narcissist don't just take rejection personally, they experience it as annihilation because they're losing control. Remember, you're on their wheel of supply. The narc is in the middle. You're one of their spokes on their supply wheel, and they're losing you before they devalue and discard you. So the moment they sense you're pulling away, they'll go into sabotage mode. They might empty your joint account, turn your kids against you, or suddenly become the most charming co-parent ever to your lawyer, your friends, even your therapist. They may all be hoodwinked by the narc because the narc is afraid of losing you and what you supply. You must be 10 steps ahead. So secure your financial records, speak to a lawyer quietly, create a safety net emotionally and logistically before you say anything to them. So have physical safety nets in place and emotional safety nets in place. Have places to go if you need to at the last minute or in a pinch. And have people that will listen to you and help you navigate this very difficult time. This isn't being sneaky, it's being safe. Number two, document everything. And I mean it, everything. Narcissists are master manipulators. They rewrite history. Remember gaslighting? Denying you of your own reality? They gaslight. They say one thing to your face and another in front of a judge. So from today, from this moment, document everything. Every text, every email, every voicemail. If they scream at you and then pretend it didn't happen, you'll have proof. You'll have receipts. If they say you're unstable, you'll have a paper trail of their provocations. Apps like Our Family Wizard and Talking Parents are designed for this, so use them. There are many others out there, so just Google them. Screenshots are your best friend. Create a file that is private that he or she can't find on your computer, especially if you share a computer. Number three, get a lawyer, get a solicitor who understands high conflict personalities. This is crucial. Not every lawyer understands narcissism. Some will say, just cooperate and take the high road. Yeah, right, if that worked. But with a narcissist, the high road can lead you straight into a trap because they will manipulate you being on the high road. And they will start the whole process over again. The love bombing, the devaluation, the discard. And you will be in an even worse place than you were before. You need someone who recognizes manipulation, like stonewalling and image management, someone who doesn't get seduced by the narcissist's charm or crybaby routine in court. Remember, they love court. Court is just another arena for them, another audience for them. They're not put off by it. They're not afraid of it because they go in believing that they will win. And they absolutely believe that. So nothing frightens them. Ask the lawyer solicitor directly, have you handled divorces involving high conflict personalities? And if they don't get that, if they don't know what that means and you don't need to explain it to them, or if you need to explain it to them, I should say, walk away. They're not your person. Because the narc is really clever. They will manipulate their lawyer, their solicitor, and get their needs met. And if yours has no clue, they'll be trampled on. Number four, expect a smear campaign. Once you leave, you are no longer useful. They have discarded you or you have left the wheel of supply. So they need to replace you. You're now a threat. So they'll go on the offensive. You'll be called unstable, abusive, delusional, jealous, a liar, neglectful, anything to damage your credibility. A terrible mother, a bad father. Your friends might even turn against you because they will implement flying monkeys. They'll get family and friends to turn against you and get everybody on side that they can. Your kids might repeat lies. This is where radical acceptance, it's really hard two words, radical acceptance comes in. As Dr. Gabormate teaches, we suffer more when we resist reality. So expect the smear campaign. Stay grounded in the truth. The goal isn't to convince everyone, it's to protect your peace, okay? Because you're going to need your peace to raise those children. You're going to need your peace to sit in those courtrooms and listen to the lies, and they will be there. I'm sorry. Number 5 is gray rock and boundaries. You can't argue with a narcissist and win. You can't. They're not interested in resolution. They're interested in control, so the gloves are off. They don't care what they do to you. They will destroy you, and they will laugh all the way home and sleep very well that night. That's where gray rock comes in, and as I said earlier, yellow rock, if you need yellow rock, because that's that in-between bit, and it's in Tara Swithin's book. Gray rock, you become uninteresting. No emotion, no drama, just short, factual responses. Like, noted. I disagree. Please put it in writing. Pair those short, non-emotional comments with clear boundaries. You are not their therapist. You are not their emotional dumping ground. You are not their mother. You are not their father. And you are not required to respond immediately or at all. An amendment to that would be when you have children and children may be being weaponized by the narc in the court proceedings and the divorce proceedings, yellow rock really is good. It comes into play. So that is softening things a bit, being a little bit more polite, but still having boundaries and shutting down the communication. Number 6, protect the children and yourself, of course. Narcissists often use children as pawns. They weaponize. They may triangulate, manipulate, or parentify them. What I mean by that is they may turn them into friends, dumping on them all the things that you have done. They may get the children in such a position that the children feel sorry for the parent and start parenting the parent. And maybe the parent will demonstrate some substance abuse issues, some forms of addiction, and the child will feel the need to look after them, to put them to bed, to make them meals, whatever that means, to be the listening ear. No child under the age of 25 has the ability to process this because their brain isn't fully formed to process these things. It's heartbreaking to watch, but you can still protect them. Use really good communication. Find some communication apps that the court can access so that you minimize direct contact, okay? Never badmouth the other parent. I know it's hard. I really wanted to do it, and sometimes I think I did. I really slipped up, but I didn't know these things when I went through my divorce. So don't badmouth them as much as you want to, but do model emotional regulation, okay? Because they're watching every move that you make. No matter how old or young they are, they're watching every move you make. They're not necessarily listening to the words. You may come off a very heated conversation with the narc and walk into a room totally activated and say, everything's okay, my dear, don't worry about it. That's fine. That's not emotional regulation. If you've come off a heated call, discussion, text message, whatever, day in court, you need to re-regulate. And that's when you need friends, family, techniques that I will discuss in another video. And remember, you're not just co-parenting, you're counter-parenting. So you need to protect your own nervous system too, because a regulated parent is the child's greatest refuge. It's really interesting. There's been comments made over decades that a child only needs one emotionally healthy parent. And I do agree with that. However, in a narcissistic marriage or partnership where there are children, there can frequently be 2 emotionally unhealthy parents because the one that is dealing with the narc is in such a bad place. So finding ways to re-regulate is so important, especially at times like this. The 7th one really leads into this. Therapy isn't optional. This journey will break you open. You'll question yourself. I had a breakdown. I had rashes. I had physical manifestations of the stress and the inflammation in my body. I was a mess. I would hide and cry and thinking that my children had no idea what was going on, but they figured it out. I couldn't hide anything from that. You will question yourself. You'll wonder if you're the problem. You'll wonder if you're losing your mind. And you are. You feel like you're losing your mind. You're not, but that's what it feels like. And that's why you need help. You'll feel the trauma bond pulling you back. You may say things or think things like, you know what? This is far worse than staying together. I think I'll just stay together with them. And everything will go back to some sort of normality, some familiarity that I'm used to, and that's better for the children. It's not. Trust me, it's not. When my children were older, they actually looked at me and said, you know what? We're really upset that you and Dad got divorced, but you're a much better person now. You're a much happier person. You're a much more grounded person. And that was gold to me. That's what I really needed to hear. And I knew I had done the right thing. You need a trauma-informed therapist. It's very specific work. And again, as you're going to ask the solicitor lawyer if they've worked with high conflict personalities, you want to ask the same thing to a therapist. Because as a therapist that works with people in narcissistic relationships, and sometimes the narcissists themselves because they come into the session, I can tell you that they can do the same thing to you they can do the same thing to the therapist as they do to you. They will love bomb you, devalue you, discard you, and then sometimes hoover you and come back for you. I've seen it. I've experienced it in real time. You need someone who understands narcissistic abuse, inner child wounds from both sides, because you have woundedness and so do they, and the legacy of fawning and people pleasing, because one of you will be a people pleaser, and that's probably an empath, and that's probably you who is listening and watching this video now. This is where I use tools like IFS, internal family systems, havening, and compassion and inquiry to help clients safely reconnect with their voice, their truth, and their power. You can't think your way out of trauma. You have to feel your way through it. You're not just leaving a person, you're escaping a psychological prison, and that takes courage. So please be kind to yourself. Let go of the fantasy that they'll change. Surround yourself with truth tellers and take it one boundary, one breath, one brave step at a time. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like, subscribe, hit the button below, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. All that remains for me to say is thank you for coming on this journey with me today. I hope some of this has helped, and I really do understand what you're going through. See you on the next video.